Hello and welcome to another episode of Stories Lost. This time, you will hear the eerie story of an abandoned subway station in the center of Sweden's capital, Stockholm, and the ghost train that has the station as its final destination. The story begins on Wednesday, November 19th, 1986, when a girl named Anna is at a disco in downtown Stockholm and decides to take the subway home instead of a taxi. It's 5 minutes to 12. And since she has to get up for work the next day, she's not particularly drunk when she leaves the Cat Baloo Club and walks to the subway station a block away. Since it's a weekday, she wants to make sure she doesn't miss the last train, so she speeds up the last 200 meters before the stairs down to the subway. As she goes down the stairs, she sees that the train is already on the platform. She hurries down the last few steps, but because she is so focused on the train's open doors, she doesn't notice that the cars are white instead of blue or dark green. The doors close right behind her, and she sits down on the first available seat. As she catches her breath, she looks at the person sitting across from her. It is a small, freckled girl with brown pigtails. She is wearing an old-fashioned dress that is covered with dirt. Feeling sorry for the little girl who is riding the subway so late, Anna tries to meet her gaze. But the girl only stares empty in front of her. She doesn't react at all. Next station, Central Station. The voice calling her station sounds like an FM radio with bad reception. She gets up to get off, but as she stands by the doors, she sees how the train passes right through the station. Excited and frightened at the same time, she pulls the emergency brake, but nothing happens. In despair, she gets back to her seat again. She doesn't know for how long she sits there until she hears, "Next station, Kymlinge, final destination." She immediately gets up, hoping to finally get off this strange train. The train slows down to a stop at the platform, and this time the doors open. She gets off and looks for the nearest escalator, but can only find regular stairs. After she has walked up a long staircase, she is so annoyed at not knowing where she is and that she has to walk all the way home to her apartment that she first doesn't notice that the doors out of the station are both windowless and closed shut. She walks up and pushes on them, but they do not open. She decides to go look for another exit. But when she in the next moment turns around and sees how her fellow passengers walk past her and straight through the locked doors, she lets out a scream. After this, she remembers nothing more. It is only a week later that she is found by some patrolling guards when she is wandering the tracks around the station. Stories like the one of Anna were common in Stockholm in the 80s and 90s, and originate from the abandoned metro station Kymlinge, just north of the city center. During the 70s, the city center had become very crowded, and the idea was that various government agencies would move to the new district and set up offices around the station. However, when it was decided that these agencies would be relocated throughout the country instead, the project was abandoned. But construction on the metro station had already begun, and the shell of the building itself was completed as a precaution against future changes in decision. Only the ticket halls, escalators, and other equipment were not installed. The area remains undeveloped to this day, and the station has been abandoned since the 1970s, except for all the metro trains that pass through, as the station is on the blue line of the metro. But of course, the station has not remained completely untouched by people. For more than 50 years, it has been a magnet for partying teenagers, graffiti artists, urban explorers, and other curious people. During this half-century, many strange stories about the station have circulated in Stockholm, especially the one about the ghost train, the Silver Arrow. People who have been near the station at night say that they first hear a train approaching and naturally think that it is one of the many trains that run daily on the line. As the train approaches, however, they see that it is completely white, often shrouded in fog, and those who are really close can see a few passengers sitting in the carriages with blank stares, giving rise to the well-known saying in Stockholm, "Only the dead get off at Kymlinge Station." One common theory is that the victims of subway accidents are passengers on the ghost train. Another is that they are ordinary people like Anna, who accidentally got on the train and got stuck there. The stories of the deserted station and the ghost train have long been considered a hoax to scare children away from the train tracks. But even to this day, new strange and inexplicable stories emerge. One such story comes from a subway driver who says she was entering the tunnel at Kymlinge Station when a train's hazy outline appeared on the track next to her. The driver on this train waved to her from the cab, and the next moment she saw another train coming on the same track and in the same direction as the previous one, but much faster. Terrified, she honks her horn to warn the driver of the approaching train, who doesn't seem to see the train in front of him. The trains crash into each other. But instead of a huge crash, the first train disappears into thin air. The woman years later told a reporter that the train that was about to crash into the first train warned a few seconds later on the internal radio of an unexplained fog at Kymlinge Station. So what do you think? Are these just urban legends, or could there be some truth to the stories? Leave a comment below. Feel free to give us a like if you enjoyed this episode. It means a lot to us. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more content from Stories Lost.